Welcome, greetings, and salutations. This is Four Valley Boys Podcast. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Christmas, and Merry New Year. We are live after Christmas. We hope your holidays were great and awesome. And on tonight's show, we have a lot to get into. We got a lot of NFL. We'll get to those topics in minutes, 2 minutes in the name. Your CFP preview. That's why Big Straw's probably on tonight, because the preview. And you know something about Big Straw, which means we lost a sponsor. Also, our parting shots. We'll get to that all in a minute. But of course, this is Ryan. What we do?
Man, tell them what we do, man. Tell them what we do. It's the best part.
Yasmin, hit the button.
Let's go.
This show.
And of course, this is part of the show. We talk about our sponsors. This is the Four Valley Boys Podcast. We are brought to you by Just for Men. Just for Men. If you got a little gray in your face or your hair, unlike Ryan right now, since he shaved his beard off, you get that 2CF3 and get your beard right. Just for Men. We're also brought to you by Sprite, the black folks soda. You need it for a chaser, you need it for a party. Don't get the special case Sprite. Get the real deal Sprite. You got that bite to it, just like Coke, but Coke strong. Also, brought to you one of Damon's sponsors, Arizona Tea, from 1999 to 2023. Damon, how much it is?
$1.
$1.
Oh man, this dude.
$1.
$1.
$1, Mike. $1, Great Kabuki.
Also,
Great Kabuki.
Brought to you by Ryan's new sponsor, Crazy Straws. When you have a big straw and it's crazy, get you a crazy straw. Also, don't forget our Four Valley Boys is brought to you on Wednesdays and Sundays at 9:05 p.m. Also, follow us on Facebook at Four Valley Boys Podcast. Follow us on YouTube, Four Valley Boys Podcast, buynightshirt.com. Christmas just passed, but the new year, you need to start fresh with some new merch. Buynightshirt.com. If you're watching the show, you was in the band at Fort Valley State, he is working on a brand new band jacket with some Letterman stuff on it. He'll be ready probably mid-spring, summer. BuyNightShirt.com. Got your HBCU/Panhandle 9 paraphernalia. Get your stuff. BuyNightShirt.com. We're also brought to you by Michael Atwater's Hand. Anytime you don't want to be seen on the camera, he'll put his hand up.
The hand and the fan, baby. The hand and the fans.
And also, finally, I had some of this over the break so far. I'm gonna get some probably next week before I go back to work. Hennessy and Coke.
Oh yeah.
The dark liquor, as you say, Faye. That dark liquor.
The dark liquor. Yeah.
The dark liquor. Guys, how was y'all Christmas, man?
It was no complaints this way, man.
None here.
Went down to Charlotte, NC to see some people. And I tell you something, boy. It was so cold last night. That night when I drove down there, I saw Frosty the Snowman with Rudolph. Man, it was cold, boy. Woo.
Yeah, it's the hawk out there. The hawk was out there.
Hey, we were driving through. Quick story, man. I was telling Mike earlier. We were driving through Ohio, fellas. And it literally looked like a white sandstorm. The wind was blowing the snow so tough, bro. You couldn't see in front of you. You had to turn your hazard lights on and take your foot off the gas and just coast through it. When you finally got through it, when we got through it, I'm telling you, it was like 1, 2, I think it was like 5 or 6 cars in an embankment stuck because they were trying to be Speedy Gonzalez, underlay through it, and they got hemmed up. It was that bad, bro. And then I wanted to put some gas in the car. That wind was biting, boy.
This last week, boy, it was cold. Real, bro.
That's
how they do it in Buffalo. Buffalo got 49 inches of snow.
Yeah, they not doing good over in Buffalo right now. They are not.
They talking about they supposed to get some more this weekend, Ryan. They supposed to get an additional 25 more inches.
They are not doing good. I heard that they've already had some deaths over there, man. And it's not a joke in Buffalo. They got folks.
Inches and then an additional 30.
You know what you got to do in the cold? You got to keep your head covered.
Head.
Man,
Go on, crank it up, Fate. I ain't fooling with Ryan or Damon, man. Go on, crank it up, man.
Yeah, I think I saw Shot in the crowd tonight at the Miami Lakers game, so he's probably not going to be on tonight. If he is, I'd be surprised. He might have will because the game is blowing out right now. So, 17. Like, 17. So, I mean, Gabe Vincent, you losing to Gabe Vincent and Heatles. Anyway, Lakers up. Let me do my Stevie A voice. The Lakers stink.
It sounded like that fool too.
My bad. So, all right, let's get the thing started. Let's go ahead and talk about the NFL. We had a lot of news in the NFL in the last 24, 48 hours. Oh man, just a lot of news going on. We're gonna talk about Packers, Hackett, Hurts, and Mahomes. Let's just go ahead and get this thing cranking. Let's discuss the elephant in the room. Hackett was fired yesterday from really fired Monday. No, it was Tuesday. He was fired from the Broncos. Didn't he get a full season? Last coach to not get a full season was Urban Meyer. But his was not football reasons why he got fired. Russell Wilson was traded there. Five prime draft picks, signed a $240 million extension with the Broncos, $170 million guaranteed. And he played like the garbage can in my kitchen. Whose fault was it, Mike?
Oh boy. People are putting the blame on Hackett. Got to put some of that blame on. I think they've had several injuries. Russell Wilson just ain't played good this year. Bottom line, you're not gonna never get rid of the player. You're gonna the coach always gonna be the scapegoat. He just ain't played good, man. And ain't nobody really people, been talking about it. But I'm putting a lot of it on Russell Wilson. And shout out to Pete Carroll, because Pete Carroll must have known something about Russell Wilson just to give up with that trade. And he has come out on the better end of this deal between Seattle and Denver. But I think it's more Russell Wilson than Hackett.
What about you, Damon? How you see it?
Neither.
Neither
of the two.
Neither.
The front office. The front office they okayed the trade.
They hired.
They got rid of the prime collateral. They signed the extension. Now Russell played like pure D dirt. You know what I mean? I'm saying neither. So Mike made a great point that the coach always gets the brunt of the blame, but the quarterback gets the brunt of the success. If you're gonna do it that way, you should be looking to shop Russell Wilson as well. You already started over. You got rid of prime collateral for Russell. So to me, this is just me. They put Hackett in a bad place. Hackett couldn't cut it, so you want to fire him? Okay. Well, what you gonna do with Russ? And now your draft for maybe the next couple years is shot because you really don't have any picks.
And it'll be an $89 million cap hit if you drop Russell Wilson after this season. You got dead money.
So like I said, Fabian, neither.
You can't cut him.
You can't cut him.
You can't. The blame, really, honestly, for real talk, all jokes aside, it should go in the front office. Because they okayed all of this mess. They okayed it. They signed the extension. They did all that. And the guy who got the brunt of the blame, Hackett.
Hey, before we get to Ryan's thoughts, can we give a shout out to Damon in New York? He's big time now.
That's what's up there, cuz.
Big time with
in New York.
He in New York, man.
I'm in New York, son. Got my Timberlands on, son.
New York, big city of dreams.
Everything in New York ain't always what it seems.
Mike, food if you come from out of town.
But
But I'm down by law.
I'm the dog pound.
Trick ass busters.
That's a
My bad.
go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
Man, that's front office all the way, baby. Because if they okay, you gonna fire the man. They ain't playing good. You gonna fire the man. It's 2 games left. You're gonna fire him with 2 games left. That means you see, well, this ain't what we thought it was. That's front office there. You didn't build around. You didn't have enough options around Russell Wilson in my opinion, to make him successful. I don't know how many running backs they don't try to play this year. Melvin Gordon, who's Mr. Fumbleitis, was back there at one time. Man, I just see this as a front office debacle. Yeah, you can fire Hackett. He gonna be the scapegoat. But I mean, let's look at what the real problem is. They just doing that. That's a deflection. They throwing him out there in order to get the onus away from them. They were trying to put it on Russell. Russell's out there to play, and he played terrible. Don't get me wrong, but goodness gracious, give him something to work with. He ain't got a lot to work with. And that's for all front office, that baby.
Yeah, let me get my saying on this right quick. Everybody's right. Everybody's right on this. The front office hired Nathaniel Hackett. That was the wrong hire in the first place. He didn't call plays in Green Bay. I just don't get it. You got on Eric Bieniemy about not calling plays, but he's called plays these last couple of years in Kansas City. He's created the offensive game plan, but yet he couldn't get a job because y'all so-called couldn't interview well. But you hired Nathaniel Hackett. You couldn't get Aaron Rodgers away from Green Bay because they gave him $150 million for 3 years after this season, and Green Bay in the cap purgatory unless he retires, which means Jordan Love is stuck. Russell Wilson came in there, him and Sierra, maybe probably. I mean, I just wish that they would have went to Las Vegas. That would have been a better fit. Las Vegas had Derek Carr go to Denver, but you went to Denver, got your own office, own parking spot. I mean, you were bigger than the rest of the team. Usually when you come in, you find a parking spot, come in. You got your spot that says Russell Wilson. Let Russ cook. Man, you burnt this whole meal this whole season, dog. You can't even boil noodles right now.
You can't boil no ramen noodles.
No ramen noodles.
Fabe, you touched on something. You and Mike, I think, made, because me and Ryan pretty much on the same tip. You and Mike made a very good point that Russ played like dirt. He played horrible. Here's the thing, and Fabe, you said it. The front office gave him the extension. They gave him the money. If you traded for the dude, here's what I say. Mike said, shout out to Pete Carroll because he saw something. I agree with that. I would not have given him an extension.
Nope.
I wouldn't have gave him one. I'd have let him play this year out, and then I see he playing like Tootsie out there. Oh, I ain't keeping him. I gotta give me another quarterback. The front office is the main. Hackett never called plays. Everybody know that went through LeFleur was calling the plays. Everybody knew that. A person that didn't know football, no man, LeFleur was calling the plays. The enemy didn't get the job because, like you said, Faye, he didn't interview well. That's a bunch of crap. But he been calling plays last few years. Offensive juggernaut. Him and Andy Reid. Come on, man.
He said,
the front office got to take this brunt, bro.
He said playing like Tootsie. Dustin
was playing like Tootsie.
And let me real quick though. I know we talking. Let me defend the Denver Broncos real quick. Okay, about Russell Wilson. I know we've been talking about Hackett being fired and shouldn't have gave Russell Wilson his extension. If you sit there and think about it, what season has Russell Wilson had a bad year? And the second part of that question for y'all, before this season, Russell Wilson, for the last 5-6 years, has been one of the top 10 quarterbacks, true or false?
True.
So why would you not give him extension playing off how he's been playing these last 4-5 years? Just think about it.
Let me answer that question right there. The last few years, Russell has been hurt. If I'm not mistaken, his hand
broke his thumb last year.
And I think I could be wrong, Fave. Anatole, y'all correct me. His leg. He had something going on with his leg the last couple years.
He played every game up until last season. He missed he missed 3 games because of his thumb.
That's what it was.
This year he missed a game because of a concussion, and he missed a game because of his hamstring.
Okay, so he's been durable until last year. That sounds almost like Matthew Stafford as far as durability. But you know, as they get older, Russ been in the league, 10 years? It's 10 years you're looking at, Fade?
11. This is 11th season.
This is 11th year. Look at his completions percentages. They fluctuating.
But has Russell Wilson not been one of the top 10 quarterbacks in football the last 3-4 years?
Top 10, yes. Top 5, no.
No, I ain't say top 5.
I'll give him that, but if you remember, Russ in his prime had a premier defense and a great running game, along with his mobility, because he had escapability himself. So when the Legion of Boom when that Hiroshima bomb fizzled out, you notice Seattle started falling off a little bit. And that put more pressure on and onus on Russ, and that had to make him prove who he was. I'm not saying he won one of the all-time greats in his career, what he's been doing. I'm saying if Carroll and the front office decided to trade him, maybe because he wanted to be traded, but I'm thinking I'm with Fabe a little bit on Pete saw something that we didn't. And he was like, fine, let him go.
Let's but also look at his rushing stats for the last 2 years. Look at the rushing stats. He has ran it 86 times in the last 2 years versus 2020 when he ran it 83 times, which means his legs were shot.
Yep.
His legs are shot. If you look at his rushing attempts, he averaged about 90 rushes per season leading up to last year when he got hurt. But that's
and looking at the yardage, roughly about 650, 675 per game. I mean per season, rush yards. That's what helped make Russ great.
And if you look at the Super Bowl year 2014, that's not the Super Bowl year. 2014 is the year they lost to the Patriots, the 15th Super Bowl. 2014 right here, he had 849 yards rushing, which means look at 450, 489, 539, 849, 553, 259, which is a little low, 586, 376, 372, 513. If you look at all that right there, all the way pre-2017, all that is pre-Legion of Boom. All of that right here from 2012 to 2017 was when they're rolling him out the pocket. You pass, play action, run out the pocket, off legs. But when he said he wanted to cook, he started burning the meal. What I say the last 2 years, Dame, on his podcast, he's good in the first half of the season. And what happens in the second half?
He fizzles out.
He fizzles out and burns the meal.
I'm not taking enough for what Mike said. He that's a great question. What has he really done wrong? That's a great question. I just think if you look at the totality of Mike's question, you can't really say he's done anything that shows wrong. It's the small stuff that he was doing that he's not able to do that makes Russ looks mortal, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can run him and do bootlegs and stuff like that, but nah. It ain't what it used to be. Yeah, we got Corporal Kirshner here. He didn't cut it all off. He didn't shave it all, Sergeant Slaughter style, man.
Hey, let me ask this last question. To be fair, because we're a fair balanced show. We're not like Fox Network, nothing like that. Can it be that this was Russ's first season in this offense? Can we say that also?
You can.
Yeah, you can throw that in there.
You can.
I'm not though. You were an MVP candidate MVP candidate with no first place votes for MVP. I'm just trying to figure that out. How you MVP candidate when you didn't get a first place vote? Help me out with that. You don't see one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six.
You
not
are such
seven,
boy, Faye. You are
eight.
so petty.
You didn't get not one MVP vote, but you were MVP candidate. How, Sway? How you MVP? But before we move on to the next topic, real quick, who's the best fit to fix Russ and help the Broncos? Keep in mind, the defense was pretty good this year. Defense is good.
I mean, they got two good young receivers in Jared Judy and KJ Hamler. An offensive guru like Sean Payton would be good for them, or Kellen Moore, somebody with an offensive mindset.
I actually would go with Byron Leftwich.
I wouldn't go up if I'm Byron. You'll be fired in 1 year, too.
Only reason I say Byron Leftwich is because he's been a real, he was a quarterback, and I think quarterback to quarterback, he may be able to pull something out of there. You might be right. He might get fired, but he would need somebody Russ would need somebody he would really honestly respect, because until recently he was cool with Pete Carroll. Had mad respect for him.
But the thing, but the owner said he's going to be conducted the interview, so that because the GM hired Hackett, and the GM, I'm not surprised the GM's fired at the end of the season. I'm just not surprised. I'm just surprised he hasn't been fired yet either.
He will be. I think he will be.
I like the names. I like the name that stuck out the most because he worked with Dak in Dallas was Kellen Moore. Dak ain't, he ain't no statuesque 6'5". He knows, but he knows. I mean, their measurables are similar, so I think that would actually work for him. I mean, outside of what we want for our people, we want the Airbnb enemies to get his shot. But I think, if you thinking about where the landscape of where Denver, Colorado is, I think Kellen Moore will probably be the best fit there.
I'm gonna give you a name, and Damon's not gonna like this. You already know who I'm gonna say.
Jim Harbaugh. I don't know. You know what? Jim Harbaugh is too quirky.
3 NFC championships.
He'll probably get fired by year 3, year 4, because he's gonna want things done his way.
3 NFC championship appearances in 4 years.
No, I'm not disputing the X's and O's. I'm talking about Harbaugh, the person himself. A lot of they're surprised he stayed in Michigan as long as he did, because his quirkiness and the way he runs things, it drives people insane. He's just he's a weird dude, man. But I mean, they say his father was weird, and his father was one of the all-time great coaches in this area. So he's just strange. John would fit too.
If John ever decided to leave Baltimore, I think, and to be honest with you, John would be a better fit and bring Greg Roman. That's a name that should be looked at as a head coaching candidate. It's Greg Roman.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, he should get a look at it for head coach. Head. All right,
let's move on because we spent too much time talking about Nathaniel Hackett. His dad was
couldn't cut it.
Who couldn't hack it.
That's a good one.
Couldn't hack it.
That's a good one. Couldn't hack it.
Let's do it on quick tape. Yes or no? Packers making the playoffs?
Woo!
Mike?
Oh boy. Who they got left, Faye? Who they got left?
Minnesota and Detroit.
Yep. 2 winnable games. And they both at home.
Both at home.
I say yes. I'm going yes.
Ryan.
I say no. I say they're gonna drop one of them, and it's gonna be because those are division games, so they go either way. So I'm gonna say no. They ain't played well enough the whole season to deserve the playoff to me.
They played good at the first part of the season, then something just happened to me. I think all the injuries to the defense killed them. But Damon, they're making the playoffs.
I say yeah. because they're gonna beat Minnesota. Detroit is gonna be the one that's gonna give them a problem. Because then, if Detroit win, Green Bay win, they both got all the marbles to play for.
So, and that's gonna probably be the Sunday night game next week too.
That's
the Sunday night. What they do, they play the game with playoff implications.
Win this Sunday. I'm gonna tell you, Aaron. The reason why they done came up, Christian Watson.
That boy Sunday night game has already been flexed though. Sunday night game already.
No, I'm talking about next week.
Week 18.
They play at the end of they'll play that game on Sunday night. We know the Sunday night game is already going to be Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
That got flexed. That one got flexed for Sunday.
Yeah, it got flexed. It got flexed.
That's an 8:20 game, ain't it?
Yeah, that got flexed to an 8:20 game.
I know. That's why Ryan's saying it. That's why he mentioned. That's why I said it.
Because he a Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah, that's why he said it.
I just want everybody to have the same information.
We knew, man. We knew.
Okay.
Okay. We knew.
Okay.
So if
long as you know.
I'm trying to thought. If Pittsburgh wins the last two games, I don't care about Nick Sirianni winning Coach of the Year. Your boy Pittsburgh's with Coach of the Year. What he dealing with this year?
I'm gonna tell you, man.
Tomlin all it's doing is giving me more and more respect for Tomlin. That dude can coach, bro. I've always liked him. He's always been the type of guy. He commands a room. I know I'm talking to a Pittsburgh fan. He commands a room. His players got number mad respect for him. He's
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he's a coach. Most 99% of the players will probably run through a brick wall for, because he know how to get the best out of all of his players, man. And a class act. He a class act.
Oh yeah, just like when he chumped my folks off about going to USC.
Goodness.
And they compared him.
Told right, Tomlin is a national treasure, bro. It's not too many African American coaches you can actually, as far as football, that you can actually talk about. Tomlin is that guy, man. I mean, he is that dude.
Hey, we talking Coach of the Year, man. We gotta go. We gotta throw Doug Peterson name in there.
Peterson.
Yeah, we got to throw him out there, man, because Jacksonville might mess around and make these playoffs.
I think you said it last week, Mike. Big Trev has they woke up Godzilla, bro. That dude, this is the Trevor Lawrence people was looking for.
He got more weapons around him too. That's another thing.
Let's think about it like this though. Look, he's a year behind because of the stuff he had to go through with Urban Meyer last year.
Correct.
They could actually be in a more solid position now if they didn't go through what they went through last year.
That would be correct. You're right. That's true.
That was just a bad hire.
It was a horrible hire.
That was a horrible.
Urban was at the strip club like this in the city lights.
Urban wasn't studying it, wasn't he?
So it wasn't. He said, "Hey, drop me off. I'll fly back on my own time."
Playing Beyonce's "Cuff It."
Yep.
He gonna fuck up tonight. He fucked up Jacksonville season. Oh,
right.
Hold on.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
You should be good for 8. They like the show, man.
All right, appreciate it. All right, Crazy Straw said we didn't realize you were gonna say fuck it.
That's just the 0-1 pitch, man. I got a text. They just said tell the moderator to be careful. That's all.
My bad. I didn't mean to say fuck it on live TV. My bad.
Yeah, I just got the sponsor for us, baby. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to lose them already. I told them it was a wholesome show.
All right, last NFL topic before we go to college football, which you really want to talk about, the Bulldogs losing to Ohio State. No, I'm just playing. They're going to win. Your MVP, Hurts or Mahomes or other, Ryan?
Man, give me Hurts, man. Give me. You know what? Let me take that back. I won't give it to Mahomes, and the only reason I'm gonna give it to Mahomes because Hurts is hurt right now. But Mahomes is doing his thing. But I mean, it ain't nothing we ain't never seen before. It's just the consistency of it. Giving it to Kelsey, you would have thought with the drop off without Tyreek Hill that he was gonna drop off. But then you're giving it to Kelsey, Vontae Scantling getting the ball. Our guy, what's our guy, Mike? Nico Hartman getting the ball. They get, and one of the best things they could have done was sit down Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's the best thing I think they could do. Because when he got drafted, I never thought that he was that guy. And you got another running back in who was it, Pacheco? Pacheco.
Yeah.
And the party keeps on moving, baby. So he able to work with what they give him, and I would give it to Mahomes right now.
What about you, Greg Kabuki?
I'm going Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts is propelled the Eagles to have the top record in football. I'm going Jalen Hurts.
What about you, Biggie Smalls?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go Mahomes. I love Hurts. Don't get me wrong. They simplified it to me to make the system fit for Hurts, and he took that and ran with it because he has been passing the ball well too. I'm just looking at the departure of Tyreek Hill, but more of an emerging factor of Kittle and Pacheco and Juju out there too, ain't he?
Juju. They can't forget about Juju, that good Juju.
So, I mean, he has weapons, but he also is, I mean, as Mr. Major would call him, Patrick Mahomes boy, I just think the numbers that he putting up, considering that the cheetah is gone, but he still got Kelsey, and he's still putting up numbers. He's still winning. He's still, I mean, the slightest edge, and I do mean slight, I give to Mahomes.
If I had to choose, I would say Stephen Ross is my MVP.
Dude, here's crazy, man.
Good, you trade all the picks to Kansas City. Think about it. They got 5 picks for a wide receiver. 5 picks. 5 picks.
Hey, don't forget Justin Jefferson now.
Yeah.
If he hit 2000,
I mean, wide receivers typically don't be in the running.
Yeah.
But Justin Jefferson, he's having an unbelievable year.
Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa.
Man, keep going. Let's go.
Justin Jefferson, that's a good one, Mike. Because I mean, all these one score games Minnesota was winning, he was a huge part of it.
Well, okay, so we talk about that. What about my boy Josh Allen? Now he's having a heck of a year too. He may not be on the same thing, but I mean he got them. I still don't want to play the Bills in the playoffs.
Yeah, but he had a bad 5-game stretch.
I don't think the Bills want to play Cincinnati in the playoffs.
Now they're playing Monday night. That's going to decide if, to be honest with you, if Kansas City loses one of these next 2 games and Cincinnati messes around and wins on Monday night, Cincinnati could have the home field advantage.
And you don't want to go through Cincinnati. They're going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if you go through Cincinnati, I can remember an AFC Championship game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, 61-7 back in 89. 88. Cincinnati. I think it was 61-7 in the championship game.
Who they played?
Either the Oilers or somebody. I
think it was the Oilers. And I think
that's that year they played the 49ers in the Super Bowl when they say the game was on the line. Mm-hmm. And they said Joe Montana was in a huddle.
That was 89, wasn't it?
Yep, that 89, 88, 89 season.
Legitimate, like y'all, I know we're about to go to college football. I think there's a legitimate 7 teams that you can flip-flop that can win it all. Minnesota, San Fran, Philly, Dallas, Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati.
Shout out
One of the 7 teams can win it all.
88. Shout out to T Miles. Say it was 88. That was the year 88.
It was 21-10. They beat Buffalo.
If I had to bet money,
wasn't he?
So what now?
Chris Collinsworth, wasn't he on that?
No, he was on the first Super Bowl team when they played the 49ers in Detroit.
Gotcha.
83, I think.
Okay.
That was his last game.
Gotcha.
If I had to bet money right now out of all those teams, regardless of record, who I think is the best, who I think may be there when it's all said and done, I would tell y'all to watch out for the 49ers right now. Watch out for the San Francisco 49ers.
That defense is so scary, bro. That defense is so scary.
It ain't necessarily the defense.
Man, I'm scared.
Brock Purdy, man, has come in and he's looking like Tom Brady his rookie year. He's just going with the flow. Man, watch out for the 49ers.
But that makes what makes it so special, though, Mike, and you're right. I'm not taking from you. He know that he got a stud muffin defense back there. So if he make a mistake,
he's a stud muffin.
He good. That defense is great. That's as my Fave say, a stud muffin.
Stud muffin.
So would y'all bet San Francisco? Let's just say NFC Championship game.
You're stupid, man.
Would y'all bet with the 49ers in Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game?
As long as it's not the Super Bowl, I'll bet with the 49ers because your boy Mike Shanahan, he's proven commodity to lose the Super Bowl for you.
Oh man.
I hear you, Faye, but once again, I guess I'm just a defensive type of dude, bro. I can see that defense doing the same thing that Baltimore's defense did. I can. May not have all the great names on there. I swear, I can see
it. Man, I'm technically.
Wait a minute, Tick might be right, man.
Stanley Wilson. That's what we're talking about. Stanley Wilson.
See, I just thought about it. Tick was right. It's just how it popped up. That's what made me laugh.
Hey, let me ask. Are we gonna get to college football, Anatole? Trump. We got 20 minutes saved up for college football, so y'all talk about how great Georgia is, and they're gonna win by 50. Okay, we got plenty of time. We got plenty of time. Okay, because I'm picking Georgia to win 50-10. Okay, 50-10.
Anatole, this dude lying, bro. Don't fall for that.
No, didn't I pick Georgia to win the national championship game in double figures? By double figures?
Yeah, that's last year. Go and finish what you about to say, dude.
All right, okay. Stanley Wilson, the guy from the Raiders, Eugene Robinson. Which one was most scandalous? The night of the Super Bowl.
Man, Eugene Robinson picking up that prostitute.
I'm sorry, Atlanta. I'm sorry, let everybody down. Sorry. Once again, I'm sorry. That's a parade. Once again, I'm sorry.
Skank.
Change that type.
And then he got burnt on that play action and that 70-yard touchdown pass too. That was the missile part. He got burnt by that 70-yard touchdown pass.
Kind second.
Goodbye.
Oh. All right, Faye. It's time for the main event.
Move on, man.
I'm sorry, Atlanta. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Man, this dude, man, y'all got tears in my eyes, man. I hate y'all, man.
I'm not a crook. Not a crook.
Scallywag.
We ain't saying where did he go after that? The ground swallowed him up.
He flew out to Nevada to the next brothel.
He got arrested, right?
Yeah, he got arrested.
Yeah,
you're right, Corey. You're right. Matter of fact, I just got a text from Arizona. I got to call him after the show.
Man, he was already suspended twice for drug use. I'm sorry. I'm in the rabbit hole now. He was a stock boy in Phoenix Grocery. He's called himself the most chemically dependent person there was when he was. So, but hey,
he needed a monster.
Hey, Tick say he got did Eugene Robinson get arrested after the game? Because Robinson did play.
Yeah, he played. He got arrested. I thought he got arrested before the Super Bowl. He ended up playing, but that was the story.
I think you're right, Ryan. It was before. I think you're right.
He got arrested that night because it was huge.
Hey,
That was a
Danny
huge
Wilson
story.
woke up halftime. He was like my man in Ted. We was jump roping. Remember that dude that was off that crack jump rope and jumped out the window? That was Stanley Wilson.
Man. All right. So college football playoff this weekend. Arizona and Georgia at the Peach Bowl this year. I want to start with the non-sequential game first. Michigan is not non-sequential. The non-sequential team in TCU. Do they have a chance in hell, Damon, to beat Michigan?
They got a chance, and the chance is Max Duggan. That dude is a warrior. After what I saw, I got a chance to see 2 TCU games. I ain't watched the whole season. I ain't gonna sit here and lie like I did. I watched the Big 12 championship game, and I actually watched the game where they played Kansas. He's a tough kid, man. And one thing about it, that 3-3-5 that they play, they have above average corners. They have they stun a lot. The defensive line moves, and they linebackers hardly miss tackles. The thing is, Michigan's scheme of blocking changes as the game goes. It changes, and it wears down. They're so physical that they wear you down. Second half adjustments also. They both are second half teams. TCU don't make great second half adjustments. It's all Max Duggan, bro. That dude is a stud. The problem is going to be if Donovan Edwards get to running that ball, and now you got to have the linebackers come up and the safeties cheat. That's where the 3-3-5 fails you. The 3-3-5 fails you right there. Because if they can't stop the run, that means you really got to come out of it. You basically playing a hybrid 3-4 now. Because you got a safety coming down, and now you're looking to stop the run, and then that opens up the field for our tight ends. They got a chance. It's just if they don't take advantage of it, Michigan take that second half and run them clean out the building.
All right, what about you?
Michigan is focused, bro. Michigan is focused. They laser focused.
What about you, Ryan?
They gonna beat the stew out of TCU. Max Duggan, no Max Duggan. Max Duggan, I like him. He's a competitor. Reminds me a little bit of Tim Tebow with his heart and his determination and trying to pull his team, kicking and screaming. And he's done a great job of taking his team, kicking and screaming to the college football playoff. But that's where it stops. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
And Elton say y'all skip watch night server. Do what I say. Do what I say right now.
Hey, Kick, that's a good question. That running back from TCU is tough too. The thing is, I think the way they would stop him, Tick, is if they scheme around it because he's so small and he's strong. I think they're going to probably use him as like a decoy to open up for the receivers. And then if they do it right, use him in the second half. Tire him out. Because if Michigan tire that defense out and they get a lead and take away, because TCU, they love big plays. That's their heart and soul. You kill them big plays. That's it.
I think this game, man, I think the problem with this game is the fact that TCU is not one of your household traditional powerhouse names. And that is making everybody kind of put TCU as a major underdog. They, I think, a 7 or 8 point underdog.
7.5.
But TCU is there for a reason. And let's put something else out there. If Blake Corum is playing, it might be a different game. They're going to load the box on Donovan Edwards and make J.J. McCarthy beat them. I think this game is going to be closer than what people think. I think Michigan is going to win this game. But at the same time, TCU with Max Duggan, they got a receiver that is possibly a top 10 pick in Quentin Johnson. I'm telling y'all, man, this game is going to be closer than what people think. Don't be surprised TCU could go in there and beat Michigan. I don't think it's going to happen, but don't be surprised if TCU beat Michigan.
I want to tell you like this, Mike, and I agree with you to a certain point. It's either let's see how big the moment gonna be for them. This they first time there. This is the conference's first time in the playoff. Last
No, it's
time,
not.
what other team from the Big 12 went?
Oklahoma.
Okay, this is this part of the conference's first time there. You don't. Oklahoma is a stalwart. They stayed no matter if it was the BCS or the college football playoff. They stay there. But when's the last time that TCU played for a championship? I'll wait.
I mean, it's been years, but that don't mean that they ain't gonna be ready.
That's what I'm saying.
Saturday night, Saturday afternoon.
I really think the moment is gonna be too big for them. Either they gonna play hard like you say, and it's gonna be closer than people think, or they gonna wet the bed. And it's gonna be like Kobe Bryant said. It's gonna be a great big one.
I will say this. Because of the season that TCU had where they've beaten teams, they've come back to beat teams, they played ranked teams and beat them, they battle tested. They are battle tested. The thing is, can they survive a huge offensive line leaning on them for 4 quarters? That's the difference. If they can survive that and be in this game by 3 to 7 points going to the 4th quarter, they got a good chance of winning. If Michigan mess around and get a 10, 11, 12-point lead, cancel Christmas. Because what's going to happen is that them boys going to run the ball, they're going to dink and dunk, get these first downs, and they're going to be methodical. They've been doing it all year. The second half, the best thing TCU could do is keep the game close going into the second half. That's the best thing they can do, or have a nice lead. Because then Michigan got to do something they've never done before. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same team, though, Tick. It really ain't. This is a different team. They focus is different. You got a squad that got blown out, understand what they need to do, and they've been playing like they understand what they need to do. This is a different squad. It's a different type of. It's a different thing. It's a whole different ball game. Now, Corum is not there. I do agree with Mike. I think the game is going to be a tad bit closer, but this is a different squad. And we talking about an Ohio State team that's relatively almost the same. They lost 2. They got the same quarterback. And you looking at Georgia's secondary, it's going to be a close one. I think that's that. See, Georgia got the bowl end of the stick, in my opinion, because they got a pass-happy team with a very good quarterback. That's the one thing that if Georgia had a kryptonite is the secondary.
Before we move on to Georgia, TCU's last championship was in 1938 with Davy O'Brien as their quarterback. Whoo, those stats.
Woo, Davy O'Brien.
Man, Davy O'Brien.
The trophy, Davy O'Brien.
He also won the Heisman that year also. This is what y'all Georgia fans been waiting on. None of us went to UGA, but y'all UGA fans or whatever. So, I mean, I wish Fort Valley was in the championship in the CFP, but
I hate this dude, man. I promise to God, man. I swear I hate this dude, man. I do.
But
I hate this dude, man.
I'm gonna start with these Georgia fans at the bottom of my screen right here. What's the key? What's your one key to the game, Ryan, for Georgia to win by 30?
Jalen Carter. Defensive pressure on CJ Stroud. That's gonna be it. It's my brother, me, him, and Michael talk all the time. And he said that because of this, because of that, and the willingness of and the physicalness of that defensive line led by Jalen Carter, that's gonna be the key. That's gonna be the key. That's gonna let the offense do more, because the defense not gonna have to be on the field as much, and you're gonna have more and more opportunities for the offense, because that defensive line is going to wreak havoc.
Why'd you Great Kabuki?
Great Kabuki.
I think this game is another game. First of all, recruiting wise, Ohio State has just as many 4 and 5 stars as Georgia. That's the first thing. Secondly, Ohio State is going to come in that game with a chip on their shoulder. They're going to come in that game after being embarrassed by Michigan last time, and they're going to come in there with a chip on their shoulder ready to play. Thirdly, about this game, I mentioned recruiting, and I mentioned Ohio State got this chip on their shoulder. Ohio State, out of all 4 teams, is the team with at least, well, let me rephrase, is the team that everybody don't think is going to have a shot. Ohio State got a shot, and they got a legitimate chance of beating Georgia Saturday, for real. I heard somebody talking about 40-10, and I don't know what y'all been looking at, but they got Marvin Harris, they got with Ibuka, C.J. Stroud, they're going to be a top 10 pick, Paris Johnson. They are loaded, man. Do y'all not realize that? They are loaded. Yes, Michigan was the more physical team, and don't get me wrong, I'm a dog fan, but don't think Georgia's going to go in there and beat them 40-10. If that game is anything, that's going to be a one-score game. And I will say this, the winner of this Georgia-Ohio State game, I think will win a national championship. So whoever thinking 40-10 or whatever, don't think that, man, when you got all them players out there.
I will
Now,
say this.
don't be surprised if this Georgia game on the Georgia side is similar to what they did with Tennessee. And as far as talent, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson, talent-wise, recruiting-wise, are the 4 most talented teams in the country. Ohio State got a legitimate chance of beating Georgia Saturday. Best believe that.
All right, Dan, what's your one key to the game?
I'll say this. I would tend to agree with Ryan for the simple fact that I've seen C.J. Stroud when he hates pressure. That would make this game a blowout, Mike. If Jalen Carter and the boys get to him and rattle him, that will make it a blowout because he's known to make he doesn't. C.J. Stroud doesn't play well under pressure. He's not Max Duggan or Stetson Bennett the 4th. That's a different guy. And Tick brought up another good point. Those guys that a long time to scheme. That's true. That's true. I agree with that.
They scheming on the other end too now.
I that's right. But you will know the great coaches. They come to do their thing. It's chess, not checkers, man. That's why I'm saying. And I know Tick said we heard the same thing before the Tennessee game. I'll say this about that one. They got to Hendon Hooker quick and rattled him quick, which took away that I ain't gonna say arrogance. It kind of deflated his confidence balloon, man. I'm looking at Mike bring up a point. The winner of that game between Ohio State and Georgia will probably win the national championship.
And Damon, the only reason I'm saying that, bro, it's tough to beat a team twice in the same year. I'm not saying it can't be done.
No.
But if Ohio State win, it's going to be tough for Michigan to beat them twice in the same year.
I will say this. Only thing I'm saying, I will say this. If Georgia gets there, I would tend to agree with you. It's tough to beat a team twice in the season, except when you know their tendencies. It's not as tough as you think it is when you know their tendencies. You know what gets under Stroud's skin. You know not to do zero coverage on JJ McCarthy. It's certain things it's gonna come to the players. So I don't know if that's a good idea to say that. I hear you, T. Miles. All I'm saying is he is a beast. What I'm saying is he don't play like Duggan or anybody else when it comes to pressure. It seems like it crack him sometime. It seems like when you get under C.J. Stroud, he get the pouting. It changes it. It changes his whole demeanor. He get that rush because he's not the quarterback that'll take off and run. He's not that quarterback. Everybody else that's playing, they are that quarterback. Stetson will take off, JJ will take off, and we know Max Duggan will definitely take off. Stroud is the more prototypical stand in the pocket unless he needs to move type guy. So He gonna go number one. I don't know. I don't know if he gonna go number one.
You can't be a one-read quarterback against Georgia. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, there it is. That's what I'm saying. And most Ohio State quarterbacks are one-read quarterbacks. He probably will.
Oh, don't get me wrong now. I want Georgia to definitely, because no other team in the college football playoff era has went back to back. Nobody's done this. So this is unprecedented if Georgia can pull it off. But at the same time, I know football just like y'all, and I know that recruiting thing. And them 4 and 5 star, we're gonna see who got the better of the 4 and 5 star. And when you look at talent, when you look at recruiting, there's only 3 teams besides Georgia in the country that has just as much talent as Georgia: Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. That's all I'm gonna say. And they got the same level of talent.
That's true.
Those are the only teams that could beat Georgia: Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson on the field.
Here's my thing, Mike. You are absolutely correct, but it's also the coach's job to put those 5-star talent in the right position. And at this point, when it hits the fan, Ryan Day has not done it. Urban did it with perfection in Ohio State. Ryan has not. So now you're looking at a coach who won the national championship and know how to use his 5 stars, as opposed to Ryan Day. He gets stubborn and he gonna pass. Even if you take away the pass, he's trying to force the pass. That's not gonna work with Georgia, bro. He's the X factor. If he can't play chess with Kirby, they're gonna get blown out.
They're gonna get blown out. Let's get to some picks. Let's start with the Michigan TCU game. Ryan, give me a pick and a score.
I'm gonna take Michigan. Michigan 34, TCU 20.
Mike.
31-24, Michigan over TCU.
D. Roundel.
I say 35-28, Michigan.
I'm gonna go 27-24 TCU, because they're comeback kids. Michigan have them down by double digits, and TCU finds a way to win. If they don't win, I won't be surprised.
T. Miles is right though. Hey, T. Miles right. Ohio State got to run the ball. They got to. T. Miles nailed it. That's what I'm talking about right there. T. Miles nailed it. They got to run the ball. If they don't, they in trouble. I'm telling you.
Hey, T. Miles, how you figure Ohio State got to run the ball? Explain that.
You got to keep that deep. You got to keep that offense off the field.
Yeah.
You got to tire out the defense.
And you got to be balanced. If you ain't gonna run the ball against Georgia, all they gonna do is tee off on you. Michigan proved that they O-line can't take pressure, bro. And we talking about to me, they got they ain't got an O-line. I'm telling you, it's not gonna work, man. They gotta run the ball, bro. And Ryan Day always seems like they go away from what works. Because if y'all notice in that Michigan game, the run game was working. Then he stopped. And when Michigan took the lead by like 7, they started running a little bit, and then they went to pass happy and all that, and it was a wrap.
This is the crazy thing about Georgia that people ain't even thought about. This really wasn't supposed to be Georgia's year. Like, Georgia's year really supposed to be next year, because that defense supposed to be a year older. They got a lot of players coming back often. Georgia got a lot of freshmen and sophomore playing, y'all. Georgia only has, I think maybe like 12 to 15 seniors. Like, this really wasn't supposed to be Georgia year. Next year, Georgia gonna be just as good.
Think they're gonna be better, bro.
Brock Bowers will come back. You got Kendall Milton, and the running back will come back. Half of the offensive line will be back. Most of the defense will be back. Ladd McConkey, A.D. Mitchell, they just got 2 receivers out the transfer portal. Next year, Georgia gonna be just as good as they are this year.
AD.
And what's fascinating before we go, out of the 9 years of the college football playoff, this is crazy. There's only been 14 teams that have played, 14 different teams that have played in the college football playoff. That's crazy.
That just goes to your point, what you used to always argue with us about. The blue blood teams.
Dominance.
The dominance, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Clemsons, the Ohio States. the players, you'll get an eventual TCU or non-Michigan showing up a little bit. You getting those teams sneaking in,
or Cincinnati,
right? That's another team that played 3-3-5, and you see where it got them. It's the powerhouses, the guys that can get the 4 and 5 stars. You got to bring up recruiting because it's a big part of it, man.
Oregon, Florida State, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Cincinnati, Washington, Georgia, Notre Dame, LSU, Michigan, and TCU are the only teams ever playing the college football playoffs. It's crazy.
Yeah. Let's get to the picks. What's the score for Georgia winning, Mike?
I like Georgia 31-24 Ohio State.
Ryan.
Give me Georgia 23 over Ohio State.
Damon.
I'm gonna take Georgia. Contrary to what y'all believe, I think this is gonna be a high scoring game. I'm gonna take Georgia 35-31.
All right, Georgia 42, Ohio State 21. All right.
Woo. Good gracious.
Fave, I think I see what Fave. I think I see why he said that.
No,
I'm
you
gonna
don't.
let him explain
No,
it, but I really think I see why he's saying it.
Yeah, Faye. Why you say that?
Because Ohio State can't hang with them. The deep is gonna tear them apart.
I thought you was gonna say this. Is what I thought you were gonna say, Fave. Ryan Day is gonna kill himself and do some stupid stuff. And why I say that is because, albeit he has a hell of a quarterback, he tends to drift away what works for him. And then when they down, he don't know what to do. If Urban was coaching this game, I would actually pick Ohio State if Urban was coaching this game.
I agree. I would too. I would pick Urban. And Urban wouldn't have lost to Michigan.
No. Because like Michigan, Urban loves physicality too. The thing is, he knows when to use it and he knows when to use his finesse. Urban is a heck of a college coach. He know what to do.
All right, let's get to the party shots. Go ahead, Straw.
Y'all probably already covered it, but one of the Pittsburgh Steelers NFL greats passed away last week, and Franco Harris. Franco Harris, one of the better running backs, one of the classic fullbacks in the league, won 4 championships with the Pittsburgh Steelers, responsible for the reception that made it immaculate. And shouts out to Pittsburgh on Christmas Eve for winning that game, doing it for Franco. The one like they said on the broadcast in the game, they won the dry in the house. They retired his number 32. Franco Harris, we will miss you.
And was he sick, Ryan?
I didn't hear anything about him being sick. The last thing I heard is that his cause of death was undisclosed.
Probably might have been a heart attack or something. It had to be something.
He was 72, so it's no telling, but they did not reveal what he was sick. Every time, it seemed like every year you would see Franco at some event on TV at the Hall of Fame or something like that. But this time, that was a shocker. That was really a shocker. I remember getting the news 6:30 in the morning, and that was a shocker there.
Hey, did y'all know when he retired, he was all-time leading rusher?
Mm-hmm.
And you know he a Penn State alum, right?
Right. Him and Lynn Swann.
Well, they Penn State alums. He had retired as the all-time leading rusher, 12,000 yards, over 12,000 yards, and the 70s. Of course, everybody knows the Steelers was the steel curtain, but they still had Bradshaw, they still had Swan, they still had Franco. They could put up some numbers.
Yeah, Franco and Lynn Swann with the SAU. Sexual Assault University. Go ahead, Damon.
Damn, boy.
This dude here, man.
Why you do that, dog? Why you do me like that, dog? Why you do it? That's
man,
okay.
he crazy. Fade crazy.
Okay.
Hey, look here. I don't know if y'all caught this last night, but 61, 20, and 10. Let me explain something to y'all, man. if you look at, I've always said this. Mike used to argue me down. Now y'all don't know. Y'all gonna probably give me the business when I say this. I look at Luka Doncic, and I see a shorter Larry.
Don't do it.
He reminds me of a Larry Bird. He ain't fast. He can get his shot off anywhere he want to. He's a bully in certain areas. I think he's a better passer than Larry. But this dude, first time in history, somebody has recorded a triple-double with 60 points and 20 rebounds. Wilt the Stilt didn't even do that. That's crazy. We probably looking at arguably one of the all-time greats before he retires. He's averaging 32.8 a game, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. This dude he's walking offense. Now I know we love KD and AD, but we gotta get. I know we do it anyway, but this dude.
I got some dumb friends, man. My friends.
Luka Doncic is amazing, man. And if this kid keeps it up, I just looked at I don't know if this is true or not. I'll have Faye check it for me, but he's leading the league in playoff scoring average per game since he's been playing, just under 30 some a game. This dude is amazing. As slow and methodical as he is, you can't really stop him. You got to try to contain him. 61, 20, and 10. Let that sink. And he also had a couple steals and a couple blocks. That's just crazy. I know. I see what Tick put, and he's right. But he's taking advantage of it, Tick. The man putting up numbers, man. I got to give it to him. I got to give him his props on that. This is the league that they created, and he's taking advantage of it. Shout out to Luka, man.
Great Kabuki.
The sports moments of 2022. My 3 biggest sports moments of this year. Number 3 coming in is one of the best sports moments this year. A lot of people probably didn't pay no attention to even watch it. But man, if you didn't watch
the World Cup,
the gold medal game of the World Cup about 2 weeks ago with France and Argentina, it was probably the best game all year out of any sport.
That's actually gonna get me to watch soccer more.
Yeah, that was Argentina and France, which I didn't really know we had that many black people there in France, but I digress. It was so good. That game was that's as far as the best game. That was the best game of the year. Number 2, most impressive award of the season or this year, or winning an award or trophy. Shout out to Dusty Baker winning him the World Series with the Houston Astros. I actually think that's his first World Series title, if I'm not mistaken.
You will be correct, sir.
Yeah, we covered that one Sunday when you won there.
You didn't have to worry about it. Regardless, Dusty Baker, that's impressive. That's a sports moment that I remember. And by the records, we went to Sunday for you, and it's several Sundays you hadn't showed up. Bang! Shots fired. The number 1 sports moment for me for 2022 was January 10th, 2022, when the Georgia Bulldogs defeated the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's the number 1 sports moment for me, man. For a Georgia fan all my life, after 40 years winning the national championship, and we got a chance of doing it again this year, that's the best sports moment for me. And I think it was great because the Atlanta Braves had just won the World Series in 2021. So, yeah, the Georgia Bulldogs national championship was the best sports moment in 2022 for me.
That's close. Georgia going to get an NFL championship.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I knew that one was coming.
And I knew
he was gonna give you a low blow when it came to you talking about
that was a call for Ryan. That was a low blow. That was a call for
that was
go dogs.
You need to
oh my goodness gracious.
Need to apologize. Okay.
Go Dogs, Fabe. Go Dogs.
There's only one
Don't
real
blame
sports story this year. We didn't know about it until March, but Brittany Griner was locked up for vape pen that had some hashish oil in it. She came home a couple weeks ago, December. But this is the sports story that's been a sports story for about 30 years, Damon.
What's that?
Why aren't we paying these WNBA players?
And it's some dog players too, bro.
League started off with Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and the Houston Comets winning the championship for the WNBA, the inaugural season. But yet these women still have to go to Russia, Ukraine, Greece, Australia, somewhere that's not where they are from, to make a living wage for their families. Yeah, it's a startup league. You know, they say it takes maybe 10 years for a league to catch their own, to get in their own stride. It's been 30 years. What have not worked for them? Where has the NBA been, even though the NBA has gave them startup funds to start it? Where are the sponsorships? Where's the ticket revenue? Why are we not buying tickets to go watch the WNBA? Why? Buying jerseys. We'll play it on NBA 2K. Play it all day. We'll watch college basketball. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. We will watch college basketball more than we will watch the WNBA. But by us not watching the WNBA, these women have to risk their, basically like Brittany Griner, risk their freedom to make a livable wage. Now, some people say they make $200,000-$300,000 a year. They can live off that. Not if you're traveling and you're doing all this and everything else. It doesn't matter. If LeBron James could make what the league combined makes in one season, why can't we make it happen? Now, Congress just signed a bill a few weeks ago where it's a Title IX type thing where the international women athletes will get equal pay as the male players. Congress, question from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Why are we not taking care of the women athletes in the states the same way? Why are we not making this equitable? We're supposed to be the land of the free and home of the brave, but these women are doing the exact same thing men are doing. Where is the equity at? We can pass a law for same pay, same play, same pay for international. Why can't we make it almost as similar to that? What are we doing? In the words of Taylor Twellman, what are we doing? What are we doing? So in 2023, WNBA, NBA get together, make it more marketable than these commercials that's halfway through the season. Make it more marketable early in the year, like February, March. Try to find a little bit better scheduling for these games. I know it's tough because you're trying to find a sweet spot, but you can do a better job than that. You can do better.
I got a question from the back over here in Rome. Fabe, you are given the title as WNBA commissioner, and your panel is right there, Ryan and Damon. How are you gonna make this more marketable? I'm just curious to hear this. What are you gonna do to get salaries up? And then my next question after that: has anybody, I know I hadn't, anybody on this group been to a WNBA game, and anybody on this group planning to go to a WNBA game?
Can't afford it.
All right, go, Commissioner. The floor is yours, sir.
We got to make the tickets. We got to make it equitable. Got to make the tickets cheaper. You got to. Even though you make it cheaper, you start selling out stadiums a little bit more. You got to make a schedule that works for everybody. That's the thing. That I agree, Tony. How we gonna get people in the stand? The schedules. You're gonna have to start scheduling this season a little bit earlier. You might have to run it concurrently with the NBA as far as February to May. Your season's only 3 months long. That's what I would look at. Either do it February through May.
It's gonna be a tough sale, man. It's gonna be a real tough sale. I I do agree with you, Fade, because you have some. If you go back to our times, man, it was some ballers that was chicks. We can run off names: Candace Parker, Shamika Holesclaw,
Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Diana Taurasi. It was some chicks that could flat out go.
That's the Lobo.
Yeah, Lobo. You had the players. The problem is getting the butts in the stands. That's the huge problem. They got to go to Greece and Rome and all that because they respect how they play over there and they give them the money. You know what I'm saying? It's just great. Man, Teresa Edwards, Cheryl Swoops, yeah.
Cairo, Georgia. Teresa Edwards, Cairo, Georgia.
Cash. I mean, it was some ballers, bro. They had a couple of them. They just, I mean, and you know, the hotbed was always UConn and Tennessee.
Man, I ain't agreeing with Fabe on this at all. I feel, you know, women should get their pay and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day,
that's what I'm agreeing on.
The thing about the WNBA, as long as there's Olympic basketball and college basketball, WNBA is always going to come in third to them, regardless. Nobody is going to beat down the door, get in their car. Hey, y'all, they get in the car and go watch a WNBA game. Nobody's going to do that. You have to be a hardcore
and I'm not
WNBA fan. What the WNBA need to do, like Fabe said, figure out something schedule-wise. But the pay that they getting, I didn't know until Fabe just said they getting $200,000-$300,000. Man, I go be Joanna, man. I go for $200,000-$300,000. So if they getting $200,000-$300,000, a lot of them got sponsorship.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have to go over there. Now the reason they go overseas is because that money is tax free. There ain't no tax on the money when you go play in Greece and Russia and Germany and all that. But nobody is kicking in the door trying to go to a WNBA game.
And the other thing too, Mike, is they want to try to what Faye was saying earlier. They have to try to get on the same level as their male counterparts. Your Candace Parker's, who is like one of the names, wants to be on the same level as try to get on a level like Katie, and that's a lot of times what it is. And I agree with everything y'all saying. They got to figure out something. I don't know what it is, but they got to figure out something.
And with the exception of Serena Williams, name somebody else in women's sports throughout history can be the equal to a man as far as being at that superstar status. Somebody that's a must see.
Monica Seles, Lindsey Vonn.
Lindsey Vonn, the skater. I mean, the skier. Ain't nobody sitting their ass out there in no snow.
Annika Sorensen. Anybody from women's soccer.
I think the only one I can think of is Reggie Miller's sister,
Cheryl Miller. Anybody from the women's soccer team from the 90s. Any one of them.
I mean, I hear, hey, T Miles is right. I can't argue with him. Like I said, I agree with Fade. They do deserve to get their money because of, and if the league ain't working, then it is what it is. But I mean, T Miles and Atwater said it. Not too many people really want to go see it. Not us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that it's facts.
Well, this is gonna be a topic we can start covering next year. But from the for the 4 Valley Boys, for everybody that's part of the show, Merry New Year. Merry New Year on Sunday.
Merry New Year, Fab.
Merry New Year, damn it, Mike. Don't forget you can follow us on YouTube, 4 Valley Boys Podcast, follow us on Facebook. We out.
Good talk.